wasn't ready yet. Why are you hitting me? No, I was not. I wasn't, stop. I wasn't ready yet. Hello, everybody. All right. Good evening. Actually, I couldn't see myself getting yeeted. Hold on. Was tits even open? I could have sworn I opened. Oh, hi. Jetmir's here too. Oh my gosh. Can you believe that? Damn. Okay. Hi, Jetmir. Did you hear him? He just went. I said hi, and he went. Hey, buddy. Do you want to come here? Want to participate? I don't know if you can see Jetmir just because I have my well, hold on. Here, let's. All right. Come here, buddy. Oh, come here. You wanna say hi? Hi, Jetmir. Jetmir, say hi. We're off to a great. We're off to a great start. Alright, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Okay, so if you don't know, Rift Runners is I get also, side note, I got my nails done again, and they're like long enough again where I can like do my own ASMR. Check this shit out. Can you hear that? Ooh. Also, I have an X on my hand. The other day, my parents for Father's Day, we went to a brewery, and it was really, really cool. But I didn't bring my wallet with me because I didn't think I needed it, because I didn't plan on drinking. But since it was a brewery, because my dumbass just didn't think of it, they were like, oh, well, if you don't have if you're under 21, we need to like mark you. And I was like, what? But no, I am 21. I just don't have my ID. I don't plan on drinking. They're like, no, well, we still need to. I was like, that makes sense, but now I have the baby mark for babies. It's been like 4 days and it hasn't gone away. But today we are opening my Rift Runners box. So if you don't know, Rift Runners is the first VTuber trade carding game. There are now other VTuber trade carding games, but Rift Runners was the first. If anyone ever tells you otherwise, kill them. Also, I think I just broke my nail. I ASMR too hard, and then I see that at the very top. I ASMR too hard, and I fucking broke it. God damn it! Well, it's like all bendy now. God damn it! You should have gone like I'm not a baby. I have wenches. I fucking Skyrim. I do. I wouldn't have sounded more than 15. Maybe it's not because of ASMR. Maybe it's because I was trying to get the box open. You may have seen it very briefly. I'm not good at opening things, so I had this little baby nail cutter. Like, I don't know why I have a baby nail cutter, not like a big person nail one, but I was trying to get the the plastic wrap open. Okay, there we go. First step. First step accomplished. We have the plastic wrap open. It only took me 6 minutes. Let's fucking go. We're off to a great start. So let's take a look at the box. And this does kind of look like something you'd see at like your local game store, low-key. Like, it has the little thing. It's 20 packs per box, and it has the little like pop-up thing. We also have a copy of the rule book. Ooh, it's also like, ooh, it's so fancy. Like, it looks very like high quality for what you get. I am also planning a collab where we're actually going to play this game with me, Lavi, and some other friends. I think Lavi's been on here before. You guys might know Lavi. Do y'all know Lavi? He's a friend of mine. He's really cool. But it tells you basically everything you know about the game, which is pretty cool. But right now, I ain't reading all that. Right now, I just want to look at the art. So let's take a look at the box itself. I haven't done an unboxing in a while just because I haven't really been into card games in a while. I kind of took a break from card games. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, but Magic's fucking expensive. So I took a break from this. This was pretty affordable, honestly. This did not feel like it broke the bank. I don't remember what the cost of a booster box is. Let me look it up for you guys. But it wasn't super expensive, I don't think. Especially if you compare, yeah, it's $60. You get 20 packs, which compared to like Magic the Gathering, That's pretty good. It's pretty standard, but it's definitely pretty good. So you can see over here it says Frost and Flames, the ultimate clash of VTubers has begun. Some say that fire and ice are the oldest forces to emerge from the primordial void. This is also how the story of Rift Runners begins. These elements will clash in the Rift, and who knows, perhaps unforeseen challengers will emerge to shake things up. Which VTubers will fight at your side? That's up to you. All packs contain at least one rare, ultra rare, or legendary rare card. Packs may contain multiple rare cards. Card rarity rates may vary from stated statistics within a reasonable margin of error. The contents of card packs are subject to change. Okay, so it looks pretty cool. I like the design of the box a whole lot. This card set contains 63 commons, 44 uncommons, 27 rares, 27 ultra rares, and 12 legendary rare cards. So we might also go look up, when we're done pulling, we might also go look up some of these cards online just to see like how we're doing, you know, if we're getting the good pulls. So let's get started. Some of the packs have, I don't know who this lady is, but I know this lady. This is Nyaru. She's one of my students. But some of the packs have this lady on them, some of them have Nyaru on them. And I'm not sure, yeah, it says 9 cards, because I guess the implication is like some of these are the Flames packs, some of these are the Frost packs, which like, that would make sense. It's on the title. But I don't know if that's gonna like have anything to do with the actual components of the card. So we'll start with this one because this makes it now even if we start with this one. So let's see what we got. Now, I am in this set twice. I have a regular card with my regular model, and I have a card with my Skyrim model on it, which... I'm surprised that a card of me is on it before the actual model is, but we're doing what we're doing. Hi, Real Spike, welcome in. I love watching streams at night. Like, what the fuck am I seeing? I thought it was Pokemon. I mean, I do have some Pokemon cards on my desk. The way I obtained these is I was at Offkai Expo and someone literally came up and was like, "Hey, bro, do you want a pack of Pokemon cards?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do. I'm not gonna say no to free Pokemon cards." And that's what I got. Here you go. I don't play the Pokemon TCG, so I don't know if these are good or not, but they look pretty cool. So I kept them on my desk. But this is a VTuber trading card game that myself and a bunch of other cool VTubers are in. So let's see. First step is, can we open the pack? I haven't done a card opening stream in a hot minute, so hopefully I don't fuck this up. Okay, let's take a look. Dun, 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 dun. Hello! Alright, let's see. Okay, we have... Let's see. I'm gonna try to, like, hold it up here. There we go. I think that... Does that work? I think that works. There we go. Okay. Sleight of Serpents. Counter. If your opponent extends a token from a tier 2 or lower fighter, negate the effect and destroy the fighter. That's pretty good. Reminds me of, it's kind of like a counter spell. There's a card similar to this in Magic the Gathering, but I don't remember what it is. Slime Ball Embryo. This is so cute. What the fuck? Okay. During the destruction step, instead of sending this card to the void... I don't know what any of these words mean yet either. We might figure it out together and try to build a deck on stream. Because like I said, there is, if you go to the website, there is a tabletop simulator version of this game out. But I haven't played it quite yet. But I'm hoping me, Lavi, and maybe Tatsu, some of my VTuber pals, we're gonna actually like do like a spell table type thing with this game. Because they're also all featured in the game as well. So we're planning things, but I don't know what it is. Can you pull Pot of Greed? I mean... maybe. Who knows? This is so cute, though. Instead of sending this card to the void, you can quickly deploy one tier 2 water lore fighter from your hand and attach this card as a unity token. This does not skip the damage step. Okay, that's pretty cool. Hi, Vader! Welcome in, gamer.
Gaslight,
Thank
gatekeep,
you so
girl
much for the follow.
boss.
You're now Gaslight, Gatekeep, girl boss. Alright, what do we got next? Oh my god, tits. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I shouldn't be saying shit like that, because these are real VTubers that may come and be like, whoa, this other VTuber's doing a Rift Runners opening. That's so cool. Oh, she's talking about my tits. Listen, anyway, Smoldering Determination. Who is this? Tarako. Oh, she's cute. Let me make sure I'm doing that's the VTuber. Yeah. Oh, spoilers. I might need to hit her up. If you're watching, Tarako, just secretly, hey. Hey. But, if a tier 1 firefighter is attacked by your opponent, after the damage step, destroy the attacking fighter. Your opponent takes burn damage equal to half of their attacking fighter's total attack. Okay. Counter cards, we'd love to see them. Okay. Solar Whip! Oh, goddamn, okay. Get whipped by the fucking sun. They made that model. They know what they were making. Honestly, there's a few VTubers that I've asked to collab with me, and it's one of those things where like, we're going to collab for sure, but they were like, hey, you seem really cute, and I want to make you flustered. Can we collab? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like this one VTuber I know who's really pretty and really cute and kind of hot. You won't believe this, chat. I took initiative. I initiated a conversation, which is like crazy, okay? And I asked her if she wanted to collab. She's like, yeah, that sounds great. I would love to collab with you. And I was like, so I might die on stream. Alright, anyway, this card can only be equipped to fire lore fighters. Increase that fighter's attack by 5. The equipped fighter inflicts piercing damage. This card can be recycled 1 time. Okay, so I don't know what piercing damage means, but it can be recycled. I'm also noting the card colors. I'm sure that's going to mean something, but I don't know what it is quite yet. Hi, future girl! I can only imagine what you collabing with someone like Cottontail would be like. I would die. Affectionately. I mean, hey, if you have a VTuber that's really hot, then be like, hey, you should collab with EB Games because she is a hot mess of a human being. Okay, so that's Solar Width. Spinal Gateway. Shuffle, let's see. Shuffle up to 3 cards from your hand back into your main deck and draw that same number of cards. Let me actually move my phone down. Okay, that might make things a little bit easier. And can we, like, focus it? There we go. Okay, that might be easier. Okay, thank you for the watch streak, Lagwolf. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a lot easier. Now I don't have to... Okay. And there she is. I pulled myself on the first pack. Gamers. Streamer luck is real. Streamer luck is fucking real. How does there a card of this model before it fucking debuts? So the good news is this model, my Hermaeus Mora themed model, is debuting at the end of the month. Okay, like I've said to y'all before, I'm broke as fuck. So like the lore video is edited by me, the script is written by me, and I also composed like fucking a 5-minute orchestral piece for the lore video. So I swear to God, that the debut is gonna fucking smack. It's also gonna be paired with our Donathon, but I accidentally made a short film. But I just really like my lore, and I want to talk about it. But anyway, this model will be debuting very soon. This is, what does this say? Hold on. I feel like I need more light in here, low key. I might need to. Oh, there is a light on already. God damn it. That's okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my computer and I'm gonna put it on like a blank white screen. There we go. So that way, okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. You made a new model based around the tentacle monster. Well, there is a lore reason for it. There's a lore reason for why I picked Hermaeus Mora. But if people decide to draw tentacle hentai of me, I'm not opposed to that. I think that's okay and encouraged, actually. Okay, Owen's just gonna Okay, after commuting... Oh, it has even lore on it. They know I'm a slut for lore. Okay, after communing with the god of knowledge, Evie was able to strike a dark covenant. Thus, the young sage was granted the knowledge of immortality and ruinous magic power. Yippee! Yeah, there's a lore reason and a horror reason. So see, there is lore, right? I do the kind of spoilers for the lore video. I do strike a deal with Hermaeus Mora, but happens to the best of us. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know how I can tell what rarity I am, but the marks along the edges look really fucking cool. Let me make it like a little bit, sorry, it's like mirrored, so I'm like, ooh. So this is fucking cool. And look, it says me, EB Games. That's me. That's me, chat. Holy fuck. Yeah, it says wind. What does it say on the... It says something here, but I can't read it. Fuck, I'm not wearing my glasses. God damn it. Prepare for my eye tracking to get shitty. I'm not wearing my fucking glasses today. Cool guy who likes knowledge. Hell yeah. And sometimes you just need to sell your soul for the knowledge on how to become immortal because your boyfriend's a god. You know, it happens to the best of us. If my eye tracking looks... I mean, can I still wink? Okay, I still can. Okay. Glasses are on. What the fuck does that say? Demon. Oh, they made me a demon. Okay, cool. 7-2. Yeah, this looks pretty fucking good. Could you have, it says wind, and only says lore on it, so I don't know if I have an ability. I think I'm just a big fat 7'2" lady, which is like, fair. I think they saw my massive fucking thighs and were like, oh yeah, give that woman massive attack. And then they saw that I'm a fucking baby and were like, 2 HP. 2 HP. Alright, what's this one? This one looks kind of cool. Sinister Revival. Revive one dark lore fighter from either player's void to the side of the field, to your side of the field, and pay HP equal to that. Jesus Christ, I can't fucking read. The field and pay HP equal to that fighter's base attack. The card and the fighter remain linked to each other. Oh, okay, so this is, yeah, it says counter. So I guess there's like a whole category of counter spells. Okay. Hi, Aiden. Welcome in, gamer. We're opening some card packs. Who do you want to collab with? I don't know. There's a lot of people I want to collab with. There's people that are like realistic collabs, and then there's people that are like dream collabs. So like, there's quite a few, but we do have some collabs coming up. I don't want to embarrass myself, because knowing y'all, I'm gonna say I want to collab with this person. And you're gonna clip it and you're gonna send it to them directly, and they're gonna know how much of a loser I am. I don't know. I'm trying to collab more. I've been a lot more sociable lately. I've done more collabs this year than I ever have as a VTuber, but I'm still trying to get out of my bubble. What's the card? So this is Rift Runners. If you type _TCG, I'll give you a link to it. This is the first VTuber-based trading card game. So, and I'm in it. In fact, where is it? Where'd it go? That's me. That's me. Look at that bitch. Look at her titties. Jesus Christ, they made me fat. So there are lots of VTubers in this, as well as stuff related to those VTubers. But this looks cool. I think what we're gonna do... Oh, wait, who is this man? Voidwalker Faust. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. Hi, Bumble. Look at it. Monarch effect. Ooh. If a tier 2/4 dark fighter is destroyed by an opponent's attack or a card effect, you can send one tier 0/1 dark lore fighter from your deck to the void. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Also, Saribot just banned someone, so I apologize if that person was wrongfully banned by Saribot. Just message me and I will unban you, or message a mod, because it didn't even show me the fucking message. I'm sorry if you got sniped on impact. Alright, and then this one, let's see. Subspace Embargo. If your opponent declares an attack on a fighter you control, they must pay HP equal to half the attacking fighter's total attack. If you're... I literally wanted to, like, read it as a... If your fighter is a cosmic fighter, they must pay HP equal to their fighter's total attack instead of half. Okay. And then we're back to Sight of Serpent. So I guess we should organize these by, like, color, I guess would be the smart move. So we got purple. Is this green or blue? I guess blue, because it's water. Purple. This is, like, black. Blue. Green. Purple. Yellow. And purple. Okay, cool. They gave the VTubers a pair of testicles. See, that's the thing, is like, Skyrim model is like my hot girl summer, because regular model is like Amish market. Like, so, you know, the site for the game calls you the witch with the golden voice is pretty cool. They hyped me up too hard. They really hyped me up too hard. I think I have a pretty nice voice. I have a degree in it, so I fucking better. But I am a witch, so they gave me a cooler title than I ever could have. Alright, let's go on to pack number 2. But yeah, I guess we're just going to sort these, and then we might kind of see... Maybe we'll read the rulebook a little bit more and think about making a deck. I'm not sure... I don't know. I've never been good at deck building. Like, even when I played a shit ton of Magic the Gathering, I still wasn't great at deck building. Can I... This is embarrassing. As an Irishman, the Amish fit goes hard. Thank you. Listen... The world just isn't ready for my boobs, okay? Like, one day they'll be out there. One day, but not today. The world hasn't earned the right to EB boobs. Maybe someday. Okay, oh, there we go. Oh, okay, fuck yeah. Okay, I'm still, like, worried I'm gonna bend them or something. I don't know. All right, let's see. Void Hound. Oh, hello, Buppy. Hello, okay. A predatory eldritch species from a distant corner of the universe. They can be easily called upon by those able to tap into the void, but not easily tamed. Oh, Okay. All right. Buppy. We'll just start sorting these now, I guess, now that we have, like, our piles set up. Okay. Vortex Barrier. This is another counter. If a tier 2 or lower wind fighter you control is targeted for the attack by a tier 3 or lower fighter, negate it. Return the attacking fighter to the owner's hand. Cool. Wild Spin Snake. Wait, oh, bro is just chilling. Wait, look at him. I love him. He's so cute. Okay. A wild Tsuchinoko native to the jungles of a distant dimension. While technically an invasive species brought to our world by the actions of Nagi Quetzali. Oh, okay. So it's like this is one of her pets. Okay, that makes sense. They are generally harmless creatures. Oh, he looks like a cutie patootie. I love him. He's only a 3/2, but that's okay. He's a hero to me. He's a hero to me. Wildfire. Oh, that's just arson. Okay. That's not a VTuber. That's just a felony. Okay, great. Expand Fire Lore tokens from a tier 2 or higher firefighter. Destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field equal to the number of tokens expended. Oh, this is a board wipe, baby. It says fire, but it's like blue on the border. So we'll just put that there. That's my friend! That's my friend! Wait, hold on. I need to be annoying. Hold on, I need to be annoying. Is Lavi... Where's Lavi? Where's my boy? Is he at his desk? Is he online? Lavi, where are you? I have him. Lavi's my friend. Lavi's like one of my best friends in the whole planet. Hold on. We're gonna annoy him. Watch me annoy this man. Check this shit out. Hold on. Where is he? I have to call him and tell him that I've acquired him. Let me make sure I click on the right person. I'm looking at my, like, personal server, and I'm not gonna screen share my personal server, but, everyone's names are, like, normal, but for some reason in my personal server, my photo is just Matt Pat. So I had to find myself. Hi, Voidwave! Welcome in, gamer! Voidwave is the fella who made this game. Look, I pulled myself. If I didn't pull myself, I was going to scream. So now I have my regular card. Fucking Voidwave was handing out packs at Off Guy Expo, and he gave me a pack, and I was like, I literally, like, said offhand, I was like, hee, what if I pulled myself on the first pack? That would be crazy. And then I did. And then I pulled a foil of my fucking self, and we both just kind of looked at each other, we were like, damn, okay. So now I have both versions of myself, but now we have to call Lobby. Now we have to call homie up and say, what the fuck is up? Where's my DMs with him? Call. Ready to start a call. Wait, what the fuck? Lobby! Lobby! Pick up the phone. 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 Lobby! No! Lobby!
Yes?
Lobby! I have you! I'm holding you in my hands!
Oh! Why?
Let's go!
Ah! Oh, you have a meat shield now.
Yay! Okay, so is Monarch like a commander, like Magic the Gathering?
Oh, yes.
Ah, okay. Wait, am I a Monarch? No, I'm just a bitch baby. That's okay.
There are so there's a Monarch for the for each of the lore fighters.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to scream in your ear.
I think I have you. Yeah, I have you as a Monarch.
Oh my
your
God,
chainsaw
really?
part is a Monarch. Yeah.
Oh, the chainsaw one's a Monarch?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Did I ever tell you about the one time I ate a land card?
Excuse me?
Did I ever tell you when I played Magic the Gathering, one time I ate a white mana card?
Why'd you eat a white, like...
I don't think I've actually even told chat this story.
Okay, so
Voidwave's in my chat and I'm talking about eating cards.
I can picture like eating a blue mana card.
Oh no, I ate that one too.
Why?
I'm trying to eat. The bit for a while was I was trying to eat enough cards so I could be tapped for Tiamat.
Are you trying to be like the world eater or something?
Yes. Yes, I am. Do you think that's not a good idea?
Dog.
Well, I think that's a good...
I feel like there are different ways to go about this. Oh?
No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. There was
like
something in my hand.
I feel like there's a different way to go about this than eating magic cards.
Well, I just want you to know that I've eaten cardboard before and I'm willing to do it again. And I wield this power.
Please don't eat me.
I mean, as long as you... How do I phrase this without being a fucking weirdo?
I don't think there's any way that you can phrase this.
Listen, as long as you keep being my friend, I won't vor you.
You went and said the word. Why did you say the word? I'm.
Alright,
Okay, I'm. Just
love you, love it.
take my leave.
Bye bye.
See ya.
We pulled my homies. We pulled my buddy. Then all is well in the world. Why do you have Matt Pat the Candlestick Man as your profile picture? I don't know. It came to me one day and I thought it was really funny. So now anytime I invite someone to my personal server, they just see me going, "Hi, I'm Matt Pat." I don't know. I just thought it was funny. All right, we have Lobby. There's a few other people I want to grab. I don't know if we'll be able to call them because I think a few of them are streaming right now. And I don't want to be that annoying. Oh my god, Lobby's in my chat. Well, watch yourself. No. I can't escape him. I don't know. Do you think there's people that unironically, like... Do you guys know what kinning is? Do you think there's people that kin Matt Pat, like, unironically? Like, do you think people roleplay as Matt Pat? Like, technically I am in my little Discord server, but, like, not actually. Like, do you think there's people that, like, seriously... Okay, so kinning it... Okay, so... kinning is, like... You pretend you're a character, but, like, there's some people that, like, physically believe they're that character. Like, when Danganronpa was really popular, there were some people that were like, I'm the real Komeda. If you're X character, don't interact with me. God damn it. Hi, wizard. All right, now I have to be careful about what I say. But that's what kinning is you essentially believe you are that character. So I think part of it is a roleplay thing, and I think the other part of it is like a mental illness thing, but happens to the best of us, you know? Alright, anyway, we have Soul Huntress Xylan. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I apologize if I butchered your name, Girly Pop. If this card is destroyed in battle, quickly deploy one tier 1 demon lore fighter from your deck. Oh, from your deck! From your deck! From your deck! Do you get off on being Matt Pat? Yes, that's my hidden fetish, actually, that I've been hiding from you all this whole time. Is I actually, the only way David can please me in bed is if I roleplay as Matt Pat. That's it. I'm so glad he's not in the room right now, by the way. He's not in the room right now. If he comes back in, don't tell him I said that. He's gonna bully me for that one. Okay. Oh, this is Yoro. Okay, Yoro is actually a former, do not tell David. Do not tell David. Lenny! Don't fuck me like this. Okay. Yoro is actually one of my former voice students. I actually used to teach her how to sing quite a while ago. Yo-Yo Manian Tank Battalion. Okay, this actually kind of goes hard. This goes hard as fuck, actually. Okay, Monarch Effect. If a tier 3 or higher ice fighter you control destroys a fighter in battle, you can destroy one fighter in the space behind or adjacent to the destroyed fighter. Okay, that goes hard. So these are all Monarch cards. Wait, no way. Okay, okay, when I was telling you the story about what happened at Offkai Expo before, it was a foil of myself. This is... I now have 2 foils of my fucking self. Look, that's me. That's me. Look. What are the fucking odds? I don't want to say streamer luck, but I feel like it might be a case of streamer luck. Okay. Aided by her trusty time saw, Evie is able to tear holes in space and time and traverse dimensions. She has learned much in her travels and even encountered wildly different versions of herself. That is true. That is true. That's me. This one looks hard as hell. Okay, so that's my... Okay. So I need to go back and see how I'm... I need to see how I'm, like, doing these, because I'm wondering... I'm not sure if I'm categorizing these the right way, because I'm a fucking kindergarten child, essentially, where I'm like, this one is blue. Blue pile. But also, these are monarchs, and, like, these all say monarch effect, but then there's these ones and like stuff like these ones, right? So I don't know if I'm categorizing these correctly, but for now, I'm gonna be a child and just say, blue goes in blue pile. Okay, and then there's also, this one's also a foil, which is like, okay, streamer luck, I see you. Touch of Frostbite. Counter. If an ice fighter is targeted for attack, negate the attack. Okay. This card remains linked to the attacking fighter. While this card is linked to it, that fighter can't attack, change its battle position, or use its effects. I'm glad there's so many counters, because I feel like with a lot of, like, the magic boxes recently, there's been, like... or at least the ones I opened before I stopped playing, there was, like, no, like... there were very, very few counter spells. Like, you'd be lucky if you got one. Whereas here, it's like, everybody eats. Everyone can have a counter spell. God bless you. You're just in bed doing the deed. You just... Hey, what's... How does he start his videos? I don't remember how Matt Pat starts his videos. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for... Can you imagine fucking... Can you imagine you're like finished doing the deed with someone and you just look at them and go, thanks for watching. I don't think I should be allowed to ever speak, actually, ever. Hello, everyone, this is Game Theory. Rips my clothes off. All right, pack number 3. Okay. Let's see. Also, I did just get a special surprise in my DM, so we might be able to have a special surprise at the end of the stream. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not telling you what it is though, because then it wouldn't be a surprise. All right, pack number 3. Let's see what we got. Also, I apologize if you're here just for the packs. I'm a yapper. I like to yap. So we will get off topic. If my missus said that to me, I'd be soft as a noodle. I'd be hard as a rock. I'm built different. What's your type in women, Evie? All of them. All right, can we... Okay, this is not working. Let's try a different way. I'm like, I don't want to break my fucking nails again. Can I... Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Yay! Oh, okay, this is nifty. Oh, okay, so this is how you're supposed to have your board state kind of going. Okay. Fighter... Oh, okay. This is actually really helpful. Because they had this at Offkai too. The playmats had like, basically they showed you like how you were supposed to set everything up. And that actually made things really helpful. So this is actually kind of cool. Is there anything? Oh, okay. And there's a person on here. Oh, that's, wait, hold on. Does this have something to do with it then? Or is that just like random? Because that's kind of crazy. Because I feel like a lot of times when you see cards like these in a regular pack, you just throw them out. But it's like, just kidding. Waste not, want not. That's a whole ass person. Mieko the Skyblazer. The tier 2 idle fighters that you deploy are no longer... I can't fucking read. Each monarch has a different configuration. Oh! Wait, did all of these have... Oh my god, I'm a fucking... How did I not notice this? I'm a fucking moron! Nice going, Evie. Nice fucking going. You know, I never said I was smart. Okay. GG. G fucking G. Okay, anyway. Tier 2 idle fighters that you deployed no longer require rally material. That's nifty. God, I wish I knew how to read. That's a very cool card. The art on a lot of these is really kick-ass, which is cool too. Okay. Oh my god, it's a little man. Look at that fucking little man. Okay. Yo-Yo Manian Foot Soldier. The lowest ranked cannon fodder of the Yo-Yo Manian army. Aw, that's okay, buddy. I'm rooting for you. What they lack in accuracy and strength, they make up for in near fanatical devotion to their dictator. Yeah, Yoro is literally a dictator VTuber. She will kick your ass. She will literally, and maybe even eat your ass. I don't know. She's a little freaky like that, but that's why we love her. Okay, Acolyte's Determination. Oh, this one's cool. If a tier 1 or lower ice fighter is targeted by an opponent's attack or effect, negate it. Pull one ice fighter from your deck and unify it to the targeted fighter. Oh, that's kind of like, that's a big cuck move. I appreciate that. This is, you can be so fucking annoying with something like this. I love being annoying. I feel like this game is gonna give me a lot of opportunities to cuck my opponents, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna be insufferable. All right. Oh, there's Tatsu. Okay. Effect. Expend. Tatsu is also someone I used to teach. Tatsu, Yoro, and Lavi are all people that were students of mine at some point. Arcane Chef Tatsu. Oh, this is so cute, dude. I'm obsessed with this. This is actually adorable. Can I, like, put it closer? There we go. Maybe, I don't know. This is fine. All right. Expend 1 rally token from this card to quickly deploy up to 2 tier 2 tier 0 fire lore fighters. Hi, G-Tabs! Welcome in, gamer. From your deck, hard 1 point. You can't quick deploy anything else this turn. Okay. All right. Slay for her. Oh, and she's a mage. Okay, so some of these were demon. Wait, what was the... There's another one like this, but I don't remember what it said. Yeah, okay, so she's a mage, not a demon. And then this one, that says warrior. I wasn't paying attention to these, deadass. And that one says mage. Okay, that one makes sense. I'll have to go over the rest of these later. But that one, I just think the art's really cute. The art's really cuteful there. Cuteful. God, I know how to speak English. I swear to Christ. All right. The weapon can only be, Baneful Cutlass. The weapon can only be equipped to Fire Lore fighters. I feel like, did we have, no, we did have a few other weapons. I feel like we just... Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of them. We just have the Solar Whip one. So this is only our second weapon here. Okay. The weapon can only be equipped to Fire Lore fighters. The equipped fighter gains 5 attack. If the fighter equipped with this card is destroyed by an opponent's attack, destroy the attacking fighter as well. Oh, okay. And pull 1 tier 3 Fire Lore fighter from your deck. Oh. Alrighty. That sounds intense. Benzine! Benzine is also someone I have taught in the past. Monarch effect. You can raise or lower a water fighter's base attack to match the base attack of an opponent's tier 3 or lower fighter until your next start phase. This effect can be used 3 times per round. Okay, that's cool. Aiden, thank you so much for the follow. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. You know, I guess I get keep go. But yeah, I teach a lot of VTubers. The only reason I bullied Lavi specifically, though, is because I asked him ahead of time if I could bully him. Okay, I only bully people with their consent, right? So that's why I'm not pulling up on everyone. But I asked Lavi specifically if I could bully him, and he said yes. So I will continue doing that. Okay. Oh, this one's cute. I don't know who she is, but she's cute. I just love girls with guns, you know? If you're a girl with a gun, I hope you have a good day, okay? I unfortunately can't be a girl with a gun because I'm not allowed, but that's okay. Literally ping me and everything out of it. User's Mia? Oh, she's been in my stream before. She's a sweetheart. Okay. Well, even if she rebranded, she's still a cutie patootie in this card. Okay, you can still be a cutie patootie in your past life. That's okay. That's allowed. A feared and versatile bounty hunter, known for freezing her target solid with her liquid nitrogen gun. Wait, that kind of goes hard, actually. Would it hurt? Well, yes, it fucking would, you idiot. Yes, it would hurt. I don't know. Can you recover? What does that feel like? Like, I know not good. And cold, probably. But, like, could you be, like, unfrozen? Like, what are the medical implications of being frozen by liquid nitrogen? I kind of want to know. She usually manages... Usually is bolded, by the way. I don't know if you can tell because I'm fucking using my phone. Manages to get them back in one piece. Oh, okay. Well, you know, if it a good ratio is still a ratio. Hi, Real Spike. I can. Welcome in, gamer. Yeah, okay. You know, if not everyone can live, and that's okay. Cyber Angel, honey. Oh, that's so cute. Monarch effect. If you take battle damage that will bring your HP from over 10 to 0, you retain 1 HP and the battle phase ends. Oh, so this is your not today kind of move. Okay. This is the not today motherfucker effect. This effect can only be used 2 times per round. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, shit. Okay, this is another foil. Okay. I have ADHD. I did take my meds today, by the way, because I know some of y'all might be thinking, did EP forget her meds again? No, I did take them today. I did. They're just wearing off. Okay. Vari, Seeker of Chaos. Lore. Destruction and mayhem follow her everywhere she goes. Her arrival is frequently heralded by the sound of mischievous gremlin-like giggling. Love that for her. Love that for her. You take meds for ADHD? Yes. I'm on Wellbutrin right now. I used to be on another medication too, but then my insurance stopped covering it, so I was just like, well, guess I'll die. Why is that bad? Why the frowny face? Okay. I don't like meds for that. I mean, for me, it was getting pretty severe. So it was like, it wasn't just I couldn't focus. It was like, I was like leaving the door unlocked. I was leaving my keys in the door. I was leaving the oven on. I literally almost burned my house down because the ADHD was so bad. So it's not like I was just like, yeah, I can't focus in class. So it was like, no, it was like, it was bad. So I'm only on 1 right now. I used to be on 2, but I'm only on 1 right now. So, okay, we got another wildfire. If we had it twice, I'm not going to go over it again. Yeah, these ones are all repeats. Another Tatsu. Yeah, this we've had again. Oh, okay, here, another Tatsu card. Okay, cool. Hot plate. Oh, this is so fucking cute. Look at her. This is adorable. Quick deploy 1 tier 0 firefighter from your deck. You can't quick deploy anything else that turn. Okay, that's cute. Love to see it. Another cyber. Oh my god! Hello! Welcome in, gamers! In Bahamut's name we reign! Welcome in, gamer! Hello! Alright, today, welcome in, everybody. Today, Connor, thank you so much for the raid. If a mod could give a shout out, I would appreciate it. How was your stream? What did you play? You play Skyrim? Yes, usually I mostly stream Skyrim, but today I do take some breaks from it. But Skyrim is my main game for sure. Let's see. Can't stop. I think you can stop making jokes like that. I think you just gotta make some better choices, bro. Alright, Kingpin Corey. Alright, so, but yes, mostly, I play Skyrim usually once or twice a week, at least once a week. We always play Skyrim on Sunday. Alright, Kingpin Corey. The effect. This effect gains 3 attack for each additional ice fighter you control. She's also a girl with a gun. I love gun girls, bro. I love gun girls. Sorry, I got distracted by the gun. I got distracted. Okay. All tier 2 or lower ice fighters that you control gain 3 attack while this card is face up. You can quickly deploy one of the card's ice rally tokens to the first field. Okay, nice. Oh, and then this one's new. Okay. Mia the Ascended. This card can I don't know how to read. Okay. This card can only be rally deployed with ice fighter tokens. During each player's turn, you can expend 1 rally token from this card to boost its attack by 10 for the rest of the turn or negate its removal by card effect. Okay, very cool. So we're not playing a Stealth Archer right now in any of our playthroughs, but we have one playthrough where we're running the Legacy of the Dragonborn mod, so we're trying to collect every item in the game. And we have another playthrough where we're using the Amorous Adventures mod, and we're trying to bed every wench in the game. So we have 2 very different completionist playthroughs going on right now, but none of our characters are Stealth Archers. We had a Stealth Archer character a while back, so we may bring them back eventually. We may bring a Stealth Archer back, but right now we have a Blood Mage that we're using with mods, which is really cool. And we have just a generic kind of 2-handed fighter. So no Stealth Archer for now, but it always does come to that at some point. Okay. Oh yeah, exactly. Everything devolves to Stealth Archer at one point or another. Sometimes you just have to say fuck it and pick up a bow. Okay, so let me see. Oh, this one's adorable. Okay, Candy Girl Aze, an expert in everything sweet and sugary. Aze is a fierce entrepreneur and dominant force in the confectionery industry. Oh, we love a girl. She's cute and she's a girl boss. Okay. We love women in business. We love that. Just got back. Had to use the restroom. Hello. Hello. How was your stream? What do you play, gamer? I opened a box of these at Offkai. Nice to see these. Yeah, they're super fun. I have pulled both of my cards so far, which is good. If I didn't pull myself, I was gonna be genuinely sad. So I did pull myself. I'm not sure if we're gonna make a deck tonight. We still have a lot to get through. And I've been yapping a lot, but we are definitely going to be building a deck and playing with other VTubers at some point. Oh, this one's cute. Carbuncle of the Void. I love Carbuncle. That's such a delightful name. I fuck with that. Okay. If a tier 1 or higher dark fighter on your side of the field is destroyed by battle, you can quickly deploy this fighter to the field from your hand. This card can be included in the fodder deck and is treated as a lore fighter when in the void or exile. So I'm assuming void is your discard. We're gonna have to look that up. We do have the rules book, so we'll need to look that up a little bit later. Okay. Oh, look at these little guys. Little guys. Okay. On the field, this card counts as 2 materials in a rally deployment for a warrior fighter. Okay, that's very specific. This card is treated as a lore fighter at all times and can be used in the fodder deck. Okay, well that's cool. They're very, very cute. How many cards are you on again, and which are they? I think we're on our 1, 2, 3. This is our 4th pack right now. So we've gotten a little bit of everything. But I don't know too much about the game. So I'm not exactly sure how to build a deck yet. We might be doing that today. We might do it another time, but I will be playing this in a collab with a few other people probably in a weeks. I'll have to figure out exactly when. Okay, here's another one. CC Squad Zeta. This is more little guys, but recolored. Actually, yeah, they're very similar, but they're not exactly the same. They're just they're like the alt skin. All other warrior fighters you control gain 3 attack while this card is face up. This card is always treated as a lore fighter and can be used in the fodder deck. Okay, that's cool. Which cards are you on? Oh! Okay, that makes more sense. Also, what color is this? This is like a dark blue. We haven't had that before. Yeah, this is our first Thunder card. I'm on 2 different cards. So I'm on the Scourge Sage EV card. I'm on that one. And then also on the, yeah, we have a lot of frost cards, or ice cards. And then I'm on this one, which I do have a foil of myself in the Time Ripper EV card. We haven't found a foil for Scourge Sage EV yet, but there's still hope. There's still plenty of time, okay? All right, Dictator Euro. Did we get the Dictator? We got a Euro card, didn't we? Yeah, we got a different Euro card. Okay, this is a different Euro card. Dictator Euro. Monarch effect. At the start of your opponent's combat phase, you can change the attack defense position of up to 2 different fighters you control. You can just change them? Oh, damn. Okay. Did I pull both of you? Yay! I'm glad you have my cards. Hopefully, I will help you get fat dubs. Okay, let's see. We got another Lavi. This was the other. I wanted both of Lavi's cards, but I really wanted this one because it's literally based off fucking Yizpa. Look at him. I love that. Let's see. Ice Alchemist Lavi. Effect. Pull 1 Ice Lore fighter from your void or exile and unify it to 1 face-up Ice fighter. Okay, yeah, this is the one where I was like, obviously I want all the cards with my friends on them, but like, this one just kind of fucks. I love his expression. I love the pose. It's a giving. I see Alliance. Oh, this one's so cute. Okay. Action. Shuffle 1 face-up Ice Lore fighter from your side of the field into your deck. Quick deploy an Ice fighter up to 1 tier higher from your deck. Attach this card as a rally token to the fighter if it is a tier 2 or higher. This card can be used to quickly deploy God tier fighters. What's a God tier fighter? Okay. That's interesting. Oh, holy shit. We got another foil. Who is this lady? Miko, Mistress of Wagers. Ooh, ma'am? Who is she? Who is she? God tier is tier 4. Ooh, gotcha. Hello, ma'am. This card can be rally deployed from the hand by using 2 exiled tier 0 dark fighters as rally material. If this card is targeted by an effect, you can expend 1 rally token and flip a coin. If it lands heads, negate the effect. I fucking love coin flip cards. I fucking love that. You could use that card to replace you with the Mia the Ascendant. Oh! Oh, that's nifty. Okay. So you're just kind of... interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is... I don't know what it is, but I fucking love coin flip cards. I really do. Okay, we got another... Wait, is this... This is a different Miyako. We have 1 Miyako, but this is a different one. Do you play a lot of TCGs, or is this your first? I used to play a lot of Commander. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering. But I never really got into any other TCGs. I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! I never played the Pokemon TCG. My boyfriend tried to get me into Flesh and Blood, but I don't know. I didn't really fuck with Flesh and Blood. He really likes it, but it wasn't really for me. But I used to play a ton of Commander. Let's see. You can send 1 idle fighter of a different name from your side of the field back to your hand, and send 1 fighter your opponent controls to their hand. Okay, that's cool. I'm always trying to get more people into Magic. I love Magic. My thing is, it's just like, I love Magic, but I don't got Magic money anymore. Like, isn't the new Modern Horizons box like 70 billion? Okay, not 70 billion, but it's like, what is it? Fucking, I don't know. Like, isn't it $100 or something like that? It's not, let me look it up. It was something crazy. I think it was more than 100. Actually, I want to know real quick. Hold up. It was, let me see, Modern Horizons. We're on Modern Horizon 3, right? It's something crazy. Jesus Christ, $250? The Eldrazi pre-made, like, okay, yeah, I'm not paying over $100 for a pre-con. Like, I'm sorry, I just, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think I'm too poor for Magic now. Although, to be fair, here's the thing. I don't know if I told you guys all the lore about my local game store. Like, that was a long time ago. That's not the collector version. Like, the collector version is $400. That's almost as bad as, like, the Ari skin in League being $500. That was fucked up. But yeah, I don't really play Magic anymore because I don't really have people to play it with anymore IRL. I used to go to a game store that I really liked, but then I got a stalker at the game store, and then the stalker became the manager, which was weird because we like told the local game store like, hey, this guy's being really weird and making all these weird comments about me, and like he would come into my stream too, and he would like say really weird things, and then he'd send me a bunch of money, and he's like one of those things where it's like, thanks for the money, but don't be weird. You know what I mean? Like, he'd send me money, and then he'd, like, ask me to go out with him. And I was like, no. And then he, did a lot of other weird shit. He was constantly, like, stalking when I was, like, sleeping or not. It was really weird. But, yeah, we, like, told the game store manager what happened, and they're like, oh, my God, that's really fucked up. He's actually been on thin ice for a while, so if anything else happens, he'll be banned from the store. And then 2 weeks later, he became manager, and so we were like, we will just not go there anymore. But there's a lot of Magic lore. There's a lot of game store lore, bro. We tried finding a new local game store, but it just did not work out. All right, here we have another Candy Girl Aze, which is cute. Another Carbuncle. Another CC Squad Delta. All repeats so far, but that's okay. Another Tatsu. Oh, we didn't get this one yet. Okay, here we go. Strike Commander Yoro. Effect. Expend 1 Noble or Fire Rally token from this card and destroy 1 AC card from a Tier 0/3 fighter on your opponent's side of the field. Okay, that fucks. Delinquent Nagi. Okay, we had another card that like mentioned her, but we didn't get her card at all yet. Okay, if a Tier 1 or lower wind fighter you control is destroyed in battle, return it to your hand instead. This effect can be used 3 times per round. Okay, that's kind of beastly. That's actually that sounds annoying to deal with. Oh, this one's really cool. Visionary Rift. Here we go. I like this one a lot. I don't know why, but like the foil on this one looks particularly good. Look at that. Exile 1 fighter on your side of the field and quickly deploy 1 exiled fighter from either player's exile zone in its place. Okay, cool. Oh, this one's cool. Wait. The fucking 2 foils in a row. Jesus Christ. Streamer luck, baby. Okay. Warpath of the Ice Queen. Action. Pull 1 weapon card that specifies ice fighters and equip it to a compatible ice lore fighter you control. This is really cool. I don't know. Like, this is another one where the foil looks really good. Because, like, the sky, it's like an aurora. Ooh. Ooh. Hi, Leo! Welcome in, gamer. Take a break from giving myself an aneurysm and tune in. Well, welcome in. We are opening some Rift Runners cards. We have already pulled myself, which is good. Maybe we'll pull myself again. I think we pulled myself 3 times. We have 1 of my regular model card, and I think we have 2 of the Skyrim model card, which is cool. We just can't call it the actual Skyrim model, like, legally, but you know. All right, let's see. All right. Oh my God. I don't know why this is so funny to me. I'm kind of obsessed with this one. Okay. A cherry bomb. Okay. A semi-sentient explosive fruit of unknown origins. It is unlikely that this species evolved naturally. It is thought that they were developed through arcane magic several centuries ago before being unintentionally released as an invasive species. I love this one. This one is adorable. I love this one. And I'm playing Ranked Magic the Gathering. I could not do Ranked MTG Arena. I couldn't do it. Oh, we've got a Mimic! Okay, fuck yeah. Chest of Gluttony. Okay. If an attack is declared against... If an attack is declared against this fighter and it isn't destroyed, return this attacking fighter to the owner's hand and pull 1 Tier 1 Demon Lore fighter from your deck. Okay, this one's cool. I fuck with it. What is this one? This one's Earth. Yeah, this is our first Earth card. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a ton of Earth cards, and we don't have a ton of Thunder cards either, actually. My Thunder cards actually aren't in frame, so let me actually move these over here, just so we can see them. Yeah, we just have 1 Earth card and, like, 2 Thunder cards, and they're both repeats, so a lot of time going on. Oh, hello, ma'am. I don't know. I'm okay with girls threatening me. Just saying. Unrelated, but, you know. Action. If you control a tier 2 or higher ice fighter, destroy your opponent's fighter with the lowest attack. You can't attack in the turn that you use this effect. Okay. Yeah, that could be annoying. That could be annoying to deal with. Oh, one's cute. This is a new person. Okay. Deal Maker Trish. If this or another dark fighter is about to be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can exile one tier 0 dark fighter from your void to negate that destruction. Oh, so basically, I'm assuming void is like graveyard if we're comparing it to magic, right? So you can just summon someone from the graveyard and be like, beep, and take the hit for you. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Oh, this one's cute. This one's really cute. Elf of Good Tidings, Monarch effect. If your HP is below 10, you can draw 2 cards from the main deck during your draw phase instead of 1. This does not affect your fodder deck draws. Okay, very cool. Let's see. Boop. All right. Kill the Protector. This is another new one. Hand effect. If a tier 1 mage fighter of a different name on your side is targeted in battle, you can negate the attack. Return the targeted fighter to the hand and quick deploy this card from the hand in its place. Okay, that one's cool. Pizza break! Pizza break! I don't know why, but it reminds me of the fucking, what was it, Spider-Man, where she's like, pizza time. This is why I love this shit, because it's like, you get like really cool badass art, and then you get pizza time. I fucking love that. Exile is like super graveyard. Mega graveyard. Pay 20 HP. Jesus Christ. Pizza's expensive these days. Pay 20 HP and pull 1 AC card that specifies dark fighters from your deck. You can't quick deploy in the turn that you use this card. Okay. Oh, this one's really pretty. We got another foil. Piapi the Ambassador. Effect. Oh, and she's the idol type. I think is this the first? We've got a lot of cards that mentioned idol types, but not an actual idol. So this is our first like actual idol. You can shuffle 1 idol fighter from your hand into your deck and pull 1 idol fighter from the deck that is up to a tier 1 fighter. Okay, I fuck with. Oh, and then another one. I think these are both former Kawa Entertainment talents, so I think it's funny that we got them both like back to back. Also, Pasta's also another fighter. Okay, so let's see. Let me reorganize a little bit because my stuff got like. Ooh, there we go. I want it to be nice and neat. If it's not nice and neat, I'm going to scream. Okay, there we go. Pastoroni the Entrancer. Ooh, if this card is removed from the field by a card effect that you control, quickly deploy it back to the field. Ooh, okay. So I guess all idols have rally effects, or because I thought the way it sounded like with some of the other cards is that all idols had a rally effect, but she's an idol and she does not have a rally effect. So we'll have to read into that. If this card is a rally token or an idol fighter, it can be expended to take control of an enemy fighter for the rest of its turn. Ooh, something I really like about these borders, by the way, like I just noticed this. See the like music notes on the borders? That's cool as shit. I love that so much. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. That's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, another deck down. So the only person that I haven't drawn yet that I'd really like to draw is Nyaru. Nyaru's another one of my students. And I haven't found her quite yet. I think Kohana too, I would like to find as well. Is Kohana in this set? I have to double check. I'm not sure. But if she is, I would like to find her as well. Let's see. All right. All right, there we go. Kohana isn't. No! Maybe she'll be in the next one then. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, they're upside down. Did you get Lavi yet? Yes, we got Lavi twice. We have, let me see if I can find it, because he's both blue. We have a lot of fucking ice cards, so I guess ice deck is going to be the play. Let me see. Where are our Lavis? Yeah, we got Ice Alchemist Lavi, absolutely hard as fuck. And then we got his Monarch card, too. So, where is he? I think he was one of the first Monarchs we got. Yeah! We got Scholar of the Cosmos. You should eat one. I did threaten it already. But as long as Lavi doesn't piss me off, he will not be vored. That is a threat, because I did tell chat. I think, oh, fuck, how did I miss, like, 2 cards? Jesus Christ. I totally missed these. What the fuck? Feed one to Jetmir. I did tell chat the story of me eating a bunch of lands, Boston. Are cards bad for cats? Probably. I'm just gonna feed next time? No! Alright. We're never gonna make it out of silver lobby. Professor Wonder. Yeah, I totally fucking missed this one. Expend a major dark rally token from this card to target and reveal up to 2 face-down AC cards your opponent controls and then destroy one of them. Yeah, this one looks really cool. I like the art on this one a lot. This one goes hard. And then this one, Project Eclipse. Expend 1 Dark Rally token from this fighter and pull 1 Tier 1 Dark Fighter or AC card that specifies Dark Fighters from your deck and increase the attack of this card by 3 until the end of the turn. Okay, that's very cool. I like that one a lot. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess we just missed them? I don't know. Alright, we have... Did we get Dictator URL? I can't remember if we did. We've gotten a lot of Euro cards so far, but I feel like we have this one. Maybe we don't, and I'm confusing it with another card. We do not, actually. Okay, so this is a different dictator Euro. Okay, it's a different Euro. She's a dictator and all of them. Other ice fighters you control can be used to shield this fighter from attacks. Okay, that's nifty, especially if we're thinking about an ice card. That would be cool. Disarming Strike. During either player's turn, expend up to 2 rally/unity tokens and destroy 1 equipment card for each. Okay. We have... Oh! I get it now. Okay, I get it now. Okay, this is the, like, regular art. This is, like, the alt art with the border. Okay, I understand now. I have been being a fucking... Oh, wait, no. Hold on. These are not the same. One has the Monarch effect, one does not. Okay, so I was kind of right, but the art's the same. Okay, I'm gonna have to read. Okay. Oh, this one's really cute. Holy shit. Explosion Artist Laya. Effect. Expend 1 Fire or Holy Rally token from this fighter to target and destroy 1 tier 3 or lower fighter your opponent controls. I like that one a lot. Oh, and then we got... Okay. So... Yeah, and then this one's different. Okay, so here... If you deploy a fighter with Laya in the name, you can pull a copy of Cherry Bomb from your deck and unify it to that fighter. This effect can be used 3 times per round. Ooh, okay. I'm starting to get it. Okay. Oh, this one's cute. This one's really cute. Yeah, I fucking love the art on these, bro. Like, I don't know a ton of these people, but the art's cute. Everyone's cute. I fuck with it, okay? If this card leaves the field due to an opponent's card effect, draw 1 card, hard 1 PT. If this card is destroyed in battle, you can quickly deploy a tier 1 or lower ice fighter from your hand in its place. Okay. Eggy! Wait. Rude Awakening. Counter. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls 2 or more fighters while you control none, quick deploy a tier 0 fighter from your hand. Okay. That looks nifty. Alright, let's see. Let me, like, again, I'm just trying to, like, make them a little bit more organized. A little bit more neat. So, hopefully we'll draw some more Earth and Thunder cards. I'm not sure, do different card types have different rarities in themselves as well? Or does God just not want me to be an Earth and or Thunder player? Because we're getting a thick amount of ice cards. We have a shit ton of ice cards. Hi, please! Why does that egg remind me of a really old Yu-Gi-Oh card? I know a lot of aspects of this game were inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh, if I recall correctly, so that could be why, but it is really cool. Alright, there aren't too many Earth and Thunder in this set. Okay, that makes sense. I don't just have bad RNG then. Okay, that's good to know. Alright, another one! We're getting there. I'm gonna have to fucking open up one of my old boxes. I'm gonna have to open up some of my old magic boxes to store all these. Alright, can I... Says mostly fire, ice, and dark. That makes sense, you know? That does add up. Evie's so smart. Evie has a degree. Evie went to college. She's so smart. She's gonna be open. Please. Is this the ASMR you wanted? It's me. God damn it. Hold on. Can I use my mouth? Can I use my mouth? Is that an option? Here, just... No, it's going out. No. No, please. Please. Can I just... Okay, we need more force. Okay. I don't want to fuck up the cards, you know? Okay. Okay. Sometimes you just have to use your teeth. And that can be implied in many parts of life. Source, trust me. Okay. We did it. Our means may have been questionable. But that's okay. I just got an infinite. Fuck yeah, bro. Alright, another cherry bomb. Another... let me actually move this so it's like... over here. There we go. Okay. Another Chest of Gluttony. Another Chilling Affection. Another Dealmaker Trish. Another Candy... Oh, wait. I don't think we had her Monarch card yet. Okay. Fighters controlled by either player with more than 34 total attack cannot declare attacks. Oh. Okay, that's another cuck move. I appreciate that. Hi, Leo! Welcome in, gamer. Alright, let's see. Oh, this one... Wait, do we have this one already? I don't think we have this one. It looks really cool, though. Tiara of Winter. This card can only be equipped to Ice Lore fighters. At the start of the next turn after equipping this card, pull 1 Ice Lore fighter from your deck. This card can be used as rally material for the deployment of a tier 3 ice fighter. Okay, that one is new, I believe. I don't think I'm putting these all in the right spot, so I'll need to... I think some of these are actually like equipment, so I need to further like clarify them. This one is different. Undercity Empress. This one looks cool. This card can be rally deployed using a tier 0 Dark Lore fighter in the void as rally material. Yeah, so more graveyard stuff. Oh shit! Okay, we hadn't got... This is our first... Where is it? Okay, yeah, this is our first dual leveling card. Dual leveling is a set of twin VTubers. They're really, really cool. Astral Knight Yuki. All warrior fighters you control gain 2 attack. Okay, that's nifty. And then dual trigger Purity. Ooh, she's pretty. Hello. Let's see. Expend up to 2 darker holy tokens from this fighter and exile cards on the field equal to that number. This card cannot attack during the same turn. Void effect. You can pay 20 HP to negate an attack from the opponents and pull this card away from the pull this card from the void. Very cool. All right. Let's see. There's still, yeah, I still want to get Nyaru, but other than that, and I would like to get the other dual leveling card as well, which would be nice. So that's all I'm looking for now, but I think for the most part we've gotten everything I want to get. Purity's legendary rare. Ooh, good to know. Okay. Good to know. Am I just not going to be allowed to open any more card packs? Like, I'm trying. There are 2 legendary per box. Okay, so that's my first one. There's still a chance to get another one. Pull is just a keyword that means add to your hand. That's what I'm thinking. Although I have been saying pull. In the context, also what I mean is pull is just like get the card in the pack too. Like when I open the pack, I find the card that I want. Let me see. Okay. We're gonna have to use the chompers for this one. Come on! Ah! Okay. There we go. Like I said, my methods are questionable, but they do work most of the time. Okay. Here we go. Alright. Oh! Go Scout! This is so cute! Okay. Oh, this are... Oh, another Thunder card! Okay. If this card is attached to a rally token to a cosmic... Attached as a rally token to a cosmic fighter, it can be expended and exiled to negate that fighter's removal by card effect. This is so cute! I love him. I love her. She's so cute. Okay. Alright, Ice Mage Acolyte. Yeah! Okay, so we had this one before, but now we have the lore version. Okay. An apprentice mage specializing in the ice element. Studying the teachings of a certain ice goddess, she has only managed to attain a small fraction of her power. The single white streak in her hair denotes her low rank among ice mages. Oh, well, maybe one day you'll get all white hair. Maybe one day you'll have your Elsa moment, queen. Oh, this is another cute one. Insomniac. That's very cute. The loyal minion of Purity Valentine. They are always willing to swoop in and assist her in dire situations, as well as perform menial tasks and errands. You'd love to see it. I don't know. I've been debating if I should get like a little pet mascot thing, and I have a few ideas based off like the little guys on my playmat, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll commit to the bit. Maybe we won't. This is another new one. Okay. Jelly Cluster. A colony of moderately toxic jellyfish. Their numbers are plentiful, and they carry a variety of valuable chemical compounds. Used by aquatic space colonies, it is unknown why their species is so widespread across the galaxy. Oh, I know why this pile feels so thick. I'm a fucking moron. I've been putting ice and water cards in the same goddamn pile. Water. Ice. This is also ice. We're gonna put that in the card. Ice. 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 Down. This is water. Yep. Alright. Ice. 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 Did you know that ice and water are different things? Oh, I think I know the difference. Okay, actually, I'm stupid. So some of these... Okay. I'm dumb. I have this stupid... Okay, it's the border. It's the border. Okay. Ice. Water. Ice. Ice. Water. I think that's what I'm doing. Maybe not. I don't know. Because this one... I think this one's just an item, so... Close enough. And then ice. 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 I think I'm doing this right. I don't know, man. Ice. Ice. We're just gonna worry about the rest of them later. As long as there's no more, like, blatant water card. Yeah, this is a water card. I have the stupid! Chilling action, is water? I don't think so. The action. Oh, they're a darker blue. Okay, now oh. Okay. So is it gonna be blue regardless of card type, or is it like darker blue to denote that it's an ice action? Like, can anything use it? That's what I need to figure out. That's what I'm wondering now. I wish I could read. Oh, this one's fucking badass. Okay, holy shit. Action cards are all that blue color. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Action card. Okay, I'm running out of piles. We gotta scooch my desk. Okay. I can do this. You can do this, Evie. I keep bonking my mic. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Action card. Let me see. Let's try this again. Water. Action card. Okay. Water. Pizza action. Water. Action. Ice. Where'd I put my fucking ice cards? Okay, here we go. Ice is gonna go right over here. You can't see them all, but okay. That makes sense. All right, ice. Down. Brown. Okay, we're putting all the ice cards. I want you guys to be able to see them still. Let's do. I'm moving shit everywhere. Okay, ice cards go here. There we go. That's where they go now, because I said so. Okay, and we'll do. Actually, put them over here. My garbage is falling. Okay. Alright, action. Ice. There we go. Action. Ice. It's me! Ice. Action. Okay, I'm getting there. My brain is getting there. It's slow, and then, okay, and then the armor is like a gray. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that's gonna be its own pile. And then ice, and then these are all ice. Okay, so we'll go through. I think also we may have some armors in the dark pile as well. So let's just double check. Dark. I think we might be, yeah, okay. I see what we did. I understand. So these are all equips. Okay, there we go. My fucking, like, sleeves keep bonking things. God damn it. Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. All right. This one, like I said, though, cool as fuck. Okay. Kitsune Visage of Flint. If this card is either face up or unified to a fighter, detach one token on your opponent's side of the field. Okay. Heat Exchange. Do we have this one already? No, we don't have Heat Exchange already. Okay. That's a... Okay, so then the purple... the purple are the counters. Okay, so let me make sure... There's not a purple... Okay, here we go. Hold up. Let me check. These are all counters, right? Counter. Okay, I was right with these. Okay, cool. All right. And then, let me see. Yeah, so this is action. Another Yuzu. And then, oh my god, we got another foil Piapi. Okay, let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. We have, how many packs do we have left? I think, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still have 10 packs to go. We are cooking. Okay. We'll get that Nyaru eventually. I promise. And if I don't, then I'll just cry, I guess. I don't know. You can't always get what you want. Alright. We're getting them open. So help me God. I'm about to go get scissors. I'm really about to go get scissors, man. Alright. Alright, the chompers haven't failed. The chomping is the strat. Sometimes you just have to eat microplastics. Microplastics. Yummy. Oh, this one's cool. Okay. Woo! Okay. Alright. Fian Scepter. Equip weapon. This card can be equipped to any lore fighter. Increase that fighter's attack by 3. If the equipped fighter is destroyed by battle, add 1 tier 1 mage or dark fighter from your deck to your hand. That's cool. Oh, I don't think we got this one yet. Flame Brawler Tora, a gangster Oni with a heart of gold. Oh, that's cute. Tora is known for her stubbornness and good-hearted nature. Her fists are a force to be reckoned with, and she possesses massive latent potential. Very cool. All right, cool. And then Flame Spectre. I don't think we have this one yet either. A simple low-level fire spirit, easily summoned by even lower-ranking mages. Damn. Flame Spectre gets no respect. Okay. When conjured, their life is fleeting, but long enough to cause some damage. Okay, very cool. Oh, this one's new. Yay, we got Earth card. Okay. Force Guardian Chio. If this card is normal deployed, you can quick deploy one tier 1 primal lore fighter from your deck or hand. The quick deployed fighter cannot attack this turn. Okay, so we got another Earth card. It would have been... Okay, we have 3 Earth cards total. Let's fucking go. Okay. Freezing Saber. This weapon can only be equipped to ice lore fighters. During your... Oh, so the lore fighters are the ones with the lore on it. Wow, that's excellent deduction there, Evie. Let's see. During your combat phase, all fighters on the field, except those equipped with a copy of the card, have their base attack reduced by half. Oh, okay. If the fighter equipped with this card is destroyed in battle, you can send this card to the bottom of the deck and draw 1 card. Damn, okay. And then this is the Monarch Flame Brawler Tora. Fire lore fighters you control gain 3 attack. Okay. Let's see. I need to get my cards and learn about them then. Yeah, you do. We're learning together, bestie. We're learning together. That's me. Enough said. That's me. All right, we have a Sinister Revival already. Oh, another Earth card. And this one's a foil, too. This means your fighters are debuffed, too, if they aren't holding the sword. Oh, so you fuck with everyone, but you fuck with yourself, too. Okay. Risk reward, I see. That's a ballsy move, then. That's a ballsy move. Ranger Rabbit. Oh, this one's cute. This fighter can be rally deployed from the hand using a tier 1 warrior with more than 15 attack in the void as rally material. This fighter gains the unity bonus from the rally token, from its rally token if it's a warrior type. Yeah, this one's cool. I like this one a lot. And this one's another foil. Alright, cool. I was gonna be kind of sad. I kind of like the color, like, that they have for the Earth fighters is really pretty, so I was gonna be kind of bummed if we only got the mimics, but I'm glad we got more like Earth people, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Next one. Oh, this one opened really easily. Let's fucking go. That's a good sign. It only took me like 6 seconds to open it. That's like a new record. That's a new fucking record at this rate. Okay. All right, and okay, there we go. All right, let's see. Another Benzene. I think we had this one before. Yeah, she's water. We have Sleight of Serpents. We got another Slime Ball Embryo. Another Smoldering Determination. Another Tatsu. This one's new. Hollowed Hand Grenade. This reminds me of something you'd see in Dark Souls, low-key. I don't know why. This card can be equipped to a Holy Effect Lore Fighter. The equipped fighter can expend this card to destroy a fighter up to 1 tier higher than the equipped fighter. If the equipped fighter is destroyed by battle, destroy an AC card on your opponent's side of the field. Ooh, interesting. Okay, we got another weapon. Another Faust. Feel the burn. Oh, this one's cute. Wait. You better get... What's the... I don't know why. It reminds me of the song from the Legally Blonde musical. The whipped in... You better get whipped in the shape. If I say jump, say how high. Yeah, that one. Double the base attack of 1 tier 1 or lower. Fire Lore Fighter. Let me bring it a little bit closer. Fire Lore Fighter. That fire is the only fighter that can attack during this turn and is returned to your hand at the end of the turn. Okay. Interesting. And then... Oh, she's so pretty. That's the lady on the box. Now we know who the lady on the box is. Ice Goddess Wineria. Oh, she's really pretty. The legendary Yuki Onna Wineria. Her prowess and knowledge of the ice element has led many young mages to study under her. Ice mages study for years just to attain a fraction of her power. Oh, good for her. Okay. Then we got the foil. Oh, very, very nice. Okay. All right, we're cooking. All right, let's go in. Now it's kind of going really fast because we have so many repeats now, right? We're still hunting for the Nyaru. We're still, come on, Nyaru, please. Let me do this. Okay, here we go. All right, next pack. All right, bros, my tummy hurts. What the fuck? All right, hada-ba. All right. Another Solar Whip. Let's see, another Spinal Gateway. Another Void Hound. Vortex Barrier. I don't think we have this one yet. If a tier 2 or lower wind fighter you control is targeted for attack by a tier 3 or lower fighter, negate it, returning the attacking fighter to its owner's hand. Nifty. We have the Spin Snake again. Aze. Heat Exchange we have. Yo-Yo Mania Tank Battalion we have. Ooh, okay, here's a new one. All right. Idol Queen Yuzu. Okay. During either player's turn, you can expend 1 Ice or Idol Rally token from this card to target an opponent's fighter. That fighter cannot attack or activate its effects, and its attack and defense are reduced to 0 until the turn's end phase. Okay. She's looking good. I like that. I like that. I like that. We're getting lots of foils, which makes me really happy. And they seem to be, like, good foils, too. So I feel like our luck is pretty darn good. Alright, another one. Alright, will this one open up fast? I feel like I think I fucked up my nail. But that's okay. That's alright. They'll grow back. I mean, I did fuck up my nail at the very beginning of stream. If you were here at the beginning, you saw me fucking break a nail just by trying to do the ASMR tippy tappies. I guess I'm just not meant for ASMR. That's okay. I don't think I have a very ASMR friendly voice. I used to have people come into stream and be like, "You have such a nice voice." And I'd be like if I'm singing, yeah, but my talking voice is kind of the worst. My talking voice is not the most pleasant, but that's okay. All right. This one needs the teeth. Okay. There we go. Did I bite it enough? Did I get a good enough chunk out of it? All right, let's see. Come on. Okay, all right, let me just... I don't think it feels appropriate to do this on screen. Okay, let's... Oh, come on. You can do it. Take another finger. You can do it. Oh, all 4. Okay. All right, we've busted her open. All right. Woohoo! Oh, this is new. Oh, this is like the... Oh! Okay, this is the opposite of the one we had before. Kitsune Visage of Ice. Token effect. During either player's turn, if this card is a token or an ice demon... If this card is a token or an ice or demon fighter, it can be expended to negate an effect that involves expending tokens. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, the other one, the fire one, was really cool too. Mr. Tubbs! I'm obsessed with Mr. Tubbs. Hello? Hi! Lore. Corey's right-hand man and enforcer. He is a bear of few words and many unsavory skills. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Mr. Tubbs got the blicky. Okay. He is always prepared. Whether it's a deal going south or the boss being threatened, he professionally dispatches the threat. Yeah, good for you, Mr. Tubbs. God damn. Mr. Tubbs does not fuck around. God damn. Mrs. Tubbs! Oh, my God. He has a wife. That's so cute. One of Corey's most loyal underlings, her amicable personality and skills in subterfuge make her an ideal spy and intel gatherer for Corey's gang. She is no slouch in a fight. What does subterfuge mean? I have to make a Google search. Hold on. Subterfuge. What does that mean? Deceit used in order to achieve one's goal. Oh, damn. Okay. All right, Miss Tubbs, pop off. God damn. God damn. All right. Outbreak 0. Oh, this one's spooky looking. That one's kind of freaky looking. If a fighter you control is destroyed by an attack, reduce the attacking fighter's total attack to 0 until your opponent's next start phase. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, target up to 2 fighters on your opponent's side of the field and lower their total attack to 0 until your opponent's next start phase. That's a cool one. All right, we got another... Oh, shoot. I knocked all my water cards over. All right, we got another Laya. We got another Lavi. Wait, I put this in the wrong fucking pile. Flip. There we go. We got another Icy Alliance. We got another Professor Wonder. And we got another Mia. Okay. So a few new things, but nothing too crazy. Hi, Ashton. Welcome in. My hungry ass could never play Magic the Gathering. Well, lucky for you, this isn't Magic the Gathering. If you type !TCG, you'll learn more about Rift Runners, the first VTuber TCG that I'm in twice. So no eating for you. If it's Magic cards though, go fuck off. Or no, don't fuck off. That's mean. Go the fuck off. EB Games tells viewer to fuck off live on stream. Ugh. Sorry, I had to drink some water. Oh, damn. Okay. Prison of Hatred. That kind of goes hard. If a dark fighter is destroyed or returned to the hand by an effect, exile the card that initiated the effect. Okay, so that's like, you cucked me, I will cuck you back. Pulsar Wave. If your opponent's quick deploys a fighter while you control a face-up Cosmic Lore fighter, destroy all fighters you control and all tier 3 or lower fighters your opponents control. So that's a board wipe. Okay. Prison of Hatred is Twitter. I mean... Are you wrong? I would say no. Okay. Quantum Hammer. This can only be equipped to a Cosmic Fighter. During your turn, you can swap the attack and defense of one of your opponent's fighters until the end of your turn, or the end of the turn. If the equipped fighter is removed from the field via effect or battle, pull one Cosmic Lore fighter from your deck. Okay, nice. All right, we got another equip. This one is new. Questionable Math. Now, for me, all math is questionable? Fuck. I don't understand any fucking math. Gonna be real. So that's okay. Lemon Honey Fork, thank you so much for the follow. You're not gosh, I keep girl boss. Welcome to the stream. Alright, what does questionable math do though? If a fighter you control is attacked by an opponent's fighter, target either of the two fighters with this effect. Swap the fighter's attack and defense values until the start of your opponent's next turn. Okay, that's pretty cool. Alright, we got another Tora. We got another Kyo. Pizza time! I love pizza time. We got another Ranger Rabbit. Ooh, okay. Alrighty, now we got another new lady. Okay. Sea Guardian Misaki. Okay, let me do this. Okay, there we go. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a tier 1 warrior, quickly deploy it to the field. If it is a weapon card, equip it to this card, regardless of the equip requirements. If it is neither, send the card to the void. Send the card to the Shadow Realm. To the void. You've been banished to the Shadow Realm. I don't know why, but I don't know jack shit, like fuck all about Kingdom Hearts, but the fucking line of Mickey Mouse going, "Did somebody say the door to darkness?" like lives in my head rent free. Think it would be funny for the hammer to return to a creature or whatever they're called in this game in the hand. Just golf swing someone out of the fight. That would be funny. Who knows? Maybe in the next set we'll get something like that. I think they're already working on the next set, which is really cool. So by the time everyone gets like really comfy with their decks, blah, new stuff. New stuff. Alright, let's see. Alright, can I open this one? Is this one gonna open easy or is this one gonna give me a hard time? This one might give me a hard time. Yeah, it's giving me a hard time. I'm gonna need to use my teeth. Alright, here we go. Teeth time! Okay. I think that got it. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Alright. I see a red card. Is that Nyaru? No, it's not. Although, it is. This is good, actually. I think this is good. Rice Revenant. If this card is expended as a token by a tier 2 to 4 firefighter's effect, it can be quickly deployed instead of sent to the void. I love him. I would die for him. I would kill for him. And if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone here and myself. In Minecraft. Moving on. No, for real, he's adorable. Okay. Ooh, okay, new Tatsu card. Okay. Rice Monster Tatsuri! An avid food fanatic and master of culinary arts. Tatsu is always ready to assist her friends. That's so cute. I love her. Alright, let's go on. Robo Shrimp. Robo Shrimp! I love that. Okay. If you control a tier 3 or higher water fighter, this card's base attack is doubled during your combat phase. Very cool. I kind of just fuck with the Robo Shrimp, not gonna lie. Saber of the Usurper. This weapon can only be equipped to Dark Lore fighters. Increase the equipped fighter's attack by 6, and this card can be recycled 2 times. Alright, we got another Chio card, this time the Monarch one. Tier 1 Primal Lore fighters you control can attack twice per turn. That is going to be annoying. Hi, Nick! Welcome in, gamer! Hurt my back and had to leave work, so now I get to watch you open VTuber cards. Oh, well, I'm sorry you hurt your back. I hope you're feeling okay. But welcome to the stream. We have grabbed myself, I think we have 4 of me now. I'll have to double check at the end. We'll definitely go back at the end, but I think we have 4 of me now. Alright, now we have Pixie of Mischief. We already have a Pixie of Mischief, so we're good there. We have Strike Commander Yoro, and then, oh shit, Shaderu, Lord of Plunder. Okay, hello sir. Hello sir. Okay. Wanted on a galactic scale. Oh, Jesus Christ. What crimes did mans commit to be wanted by a whole galaxy? I feel like it might be tax fraud. Like, you know how they say, like, didn't they only get Al Capone on tax fraud? Like, they couldn't get him on any, or I might be thinking of, like, another criminal. But, like, they couldn't get him on anything else, but they got him for taxes. I bet you this man has never paid taxes a day in his life. That's probably his crimes. I'm willing to bet money on that. One of the most feared and mythological space pirates. Oh, yeah, definitely tax fraud. He has inspired many pirates across countless star systems. Oh, well, he's a role model, so that's good. That's good. Oh, wait, there's another card here. Wait, what's this one? Confectionery Queen Aze. Did we get this one? We have a lot of Aze cards, but I think this is the first one we got. This one. Let me read it. I'm trying to get the text to center. All right, there we go. This card can be rally deployed by using 2 Wind and Warrior fighters from your void as rally material. During your combat phase, you can expend 1 Wind Rally token from this card to return a fighter to its owner's hand while negating its effects. You cannot attack that turn. Okay, that sounds fun. You got our lore fighter version? Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, because I was like, that art looks familiar. Do I have the stupid? It's very likely, but, you know, always gotta double check. All right, let's keep going. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. I've got... Okay, we did it. We did it, chat. We did it. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, let's see. Frosty. Some of the little animals are so fucking cute, dude. Is there any functional difference between the lore and the effect copies? Like, do the ones with the lore have to be played without their normal effects? So it looks like I think the lore ones are not... I'll have to double check because we do have the rule book. We're gonna have to take a look through it. I remember where I put it. Oh, here it is. You can't hear it. Well, you might be able to hear it. You can't see it, but I'm like rumbling through all the card pack stuff. I'll have to check the rule book, but I'm not sure on that one. But we do have the rule book, and all the rules are posted online as well. Lore cards have no effect, but many cards act upon them. Think of lore fighters as normal monsters, and effect fighters are effect monsters. Okay, that makes sense. So you can have Eevee or cool Eevee. That's how I would explain it. All right, let's see. This young polar bear was rescued by Wineria and healed when he was on the brink of death. Aw. He is now her loyal companion and was given a scarf to cover the scars of his ordeal. Aw, that's good. As a side effect of the healing magic, he will forever remain small and adorable. You have been doomed to being cute. What a way to be. What a way to go. Okay. Ooh, is this a raccoon lady? That looks like a raccoon lady. I fuck with raccoon ladies. Graceful Heist. Target 1 ACE card in your void of a different name that... I don't know what ACE stands for quite yet. That specifies ice fighters and add it to your hand. You can't quick deploy in the turn you use this effect. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I fuck with the design. You can relate to that cursor, right, Evie? No, I'm not cute nor adorable. I'm a war criminal. I'm very evil and scary, okay? Yeah. Action counter equip. Okay, that makes sense. All right, we got another. These are all repeats so far. Did we get this one? I don't think we got Soul Huntress Zillin yet. If this card is destroyed in battle, quickly deploy 1 tier 1 demon lore fighter from your deck. Her wings remind me of, what's it, Flandre from Toho? That's what her wings remind me of, because they're, like, not, like, completely filled in. Yeah, we got the Monarch of her. Okay, yeah. That's what it reminds me of, though. They're very cool. All right, we got another Yuzu. And then we got another Yoro. And then we got another Misaki. Okay, very cool. Let's see. All right, we have 3 packs left. All right, we're on the 3. We still have a chance to get Nyaru. There's still a chance. I'm not coping. You're coping. I'm not coping. Okay. Head up. Come on. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Listen to that sizzle, baby. Oh, that's not how you're supposed to do that. Okay. All right. Yeehaw. All right, what do we got? All right, we got another Insomniac. We got another Jelly Cluster. Kitsune Visage of Flame. Kitsune Visage of Ice. Tatsu. Tiara. Nagi. We got another Shadowy, but this is the foil one, which is cool. And then Pyramid of the Sun. This is a new one. Rally deploy 1 World Serpent Quetzali from your hand or deck using 3 tier 0 or 1 wind or reptile fighters. We haven't found any reptiles yet. God damn. I'm coping whenever there's someone with a better hairline. Mood. Mood. Let's see. You cannot quick deploy any fighters in the turn this card is used. This card cannot be negated. Okay, I don't know if we have... I think we have World Serpent Quetzali, so we could use this. But I'll have to double check. Okay, back to the action pile. All right. 2 more packs. 2 more packs. 2 more packs. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you just have to use your aggression, and that's okay. Okay, there we go. All right. Hello. We got another Mr. Tubbs. Bless up, Mr. Tubbs. I fucking love Mr. Tubbs. Another Mrs. Tubbs. Another Outbreak Zero, Prison of Hatred, Pulsar Wave. Yeah, those we all have already. Quantum Hammer we have already. Undercity Empress we have already. Oh, this one's cool. Flamecaster Gween. Monarch Effect. All firefighters you control gain 5 defense. Let's go! Let's go! In the second to last pack, I now have everyone that I've taught's card. The only other person that's card I have worked with, I haven't taught her, but Kari. She was a member of the first off card. That's the only other person I want. But we have all of my students. At least once. Let's go. And we have the foil. Let's go. Okay. Shooting Star Nyaru. Effect. While this card is face up on the field, you can rally deploy God tier idol fighters from the hand using firefighters in the void as rally material. Okay, we got Shooting Star Nyaru. I can die happy. If we're really lucky, if God is on our side, our last pack will have Rock Goddess Nyaru in it, which is the other card of hers. I'm not counting on it, but I'm hoping that if I say it, I'm gonna manifest it, and then we can all be like, "Whoa! Oh my God!" when I pull it. If I pull it, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, last pack. Last pack. We could do this. Okay. Ah! All right, there we go. All right, let's go, besties. What? All right. We got a Lavi starting off strong with the homies. Lavi. Scythe of Repose. Okay. This weapon can only be equipped to a Demon Lore fighter. It gains 5 attack. If the equipped fighter destroys an opponent's fighter, look at their hand. Choose one card to shuffle back into their deck. They then draw one card. This card can be recycled 1 time. So we got another graveyard play. Is there a time chainsaw card? Yes, we will look over all of my favorite cards at the very end. But yes, there is. And we got the foil of it too. Sentry Monolith. Increase the attack. Oh wait, I think we have that one already. I'll read it anyway just in case. Increase the attack of all cosmic fighters you control by 1 for every cosmic fighter in exile. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, pull 1 AC card of a different name from the void that specifies cosmic fighters. Okay, very cool. We got another Benzine, another Tatsu, and then another Rude Awakening. That one's cute. I like that one a lot. Another Undercity Empress. We got another fucking foil Nyaru. Okay, maybe we didn't get Rock Goddess Nyaru, but we did get 2 foil Shooting Star Nyarus. And we got Silent Tactician Mio. Wait, she's kind of cool looking. Expend 1 fire token from this card to quick deploy a firefighter from your hand. That fighter can be up to 1 tier higher than the expended token. God tier fighters can be deployed this way. If the deployed fighter is tier 2 or higher, you may load it with firefighters from the void as rally tokens. Very cool. Oh no. Jetmir's on the... Oh no. Jetmir's trying to get on the desk, and the first time it was fine, but, buddy? Oh no. He's like, oh, no. No, Jetmir, you can't see it, but he's coming. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Oh, you stay right there, buddy. You stay. You. Jetmir! You can see him, kind of. Oh, wait, no. Okay, we're good. We're good. You couldn't see him, but he was very, very close. Okay, Jetmir, good boy. Good boy. Okay, but we have now emptied our box. So let's go over everything we got, and we'll go over the highlights. So let's start with our water cards. Let's see. Benzine, that was a cool one. Misaki was a really cool one. I liked a lot. We fuck with Robo Shrimp. I fuck with Robo Shrimp highly. Let's see. The Slimeball Embryo was cute. And then the Piapi card was very cute. I think we got 2 foils of her card, which was really, really cool. Let's see. But yeah, those were the highlights from the water cards. And I'm going to start putting these back in the box so then I can kind of have them sorted already for when I make my own deck. I don't know if we're going to start doing that on stream or off stream. We do have all our fuck ton of action cards. The action cards were, some of them were really cool. I like the Graceful Heist one a lot. That one was cool. Pizza Time. I love Pizza Time. These were really cute. Let's see. Feel the Burn was also very cool. And then, let me see. Hot Plate was cute. Arson. You love to see it. Let's see. The Warpath of the Ice Queen was very cool too. And then Visionary Rift, I like the art on that one a lot as well. So lots of really cool. And then we got the Yandere Chilling Affection, which was cool. Do you know the question? What question? What question? Am I about to get D's nuts? Not again. Always happens to me. Did you just say arson? Yeah, it's the arson card. You know. Oh, no! Mustard is love. Mustard is life. To drink 921 tons of mustards or not to drink 921 tons of mustard. I think there's an obvious answer there. All right, we didn't get a ton of Thunder cards, but there's not a ton of Thunder cards in the set. I did really like Gubu Scout, and then the squad was very cute. I liked the squad a lot. That was very cute. So those were really nice. Let's see what else we got. We'll go through the green, or our wind cards now. All of the Aze cards were really cute. Like, Girl just has a really cute design, and I fuck with it. Spin Snake was very cute. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's your girl. It's your bottom bitch. Wait, no, that's not a good thing. It's your boy, Skinny Penis. That's me. With the new Skyrim model, which, like I said, there might be a surprise at the end of stream. We'll see. This was very cute. I like this one a lot. Yeah, all of Aze's cards were very, very cute. Yeah, there's me again. The Mieko card was very cute as well. So those are all our wind cards. The most we got was definitely ice and fire, but given the makeup of the set, that was kind of a given. Let's look at all our dark cards. Eldritch Priestess EB. Damn right. All right. Undercity Empress was really cool. I do love Insomniac. That was very cute. Professor Wonder was really cool. I like the Void Hound. We got a lot of Void Hounds. The Dual Trigger Purity was, apparently this one's like super duper ultra rare. Like this was like one of the rarest cards in the set. So big ups for getting that one. I like this card a lot. I just like the kind of vibe. Let's see. Project Eclipse was pretty cool. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff. I really like the Miko card. That one was really cool. I like that one a lot. So lots of cool dark cards. Then we'll go over our fire cards next. We had a lot of fire cards and a lot of good pulls on this one. Let's see. All right. I like this card a lot. I don't know what it is, but like I really like the like wall behind her. I think this looks really cool. I don't know. I kind of just fuck with the aesthetic of the card overall. That one's cool. We did get 2 foil shooting star Nyarus, which is really cool. I do like Shadowroo a lot. No, it is unfortunately not Hatsune Miku. Although there is a Hatsune Miku secret layer out for Magic the Gathering. I wasn't really a fan of the art, but it is there. This card was cool as fuck. Yoro with the Strike Commander, that goes hard. Hard as hell. This one was very cool. Let's see. Tatsu. All of Tatsu's cards were super cute. Was waiting to surprise you right at the bottom of the box. She really was. Thank you, Nyaru. Very cool. Very fun. Rice Revenant. Absolutely fucking adorable. Love that. The Tora card was really cool. I fucking love the Cherry Bomb card. That one was awesome. I love that one. All of Laya's cards were also really cool. Girl seems to be a big fan of Arson, and I respect that. The Elf of Good Tidings card was cute. The Pasta card was really badass. The Arcade Chef Tatsu was very cute. And then the Vari card was also very cute. So those were our fire cards. Put them back in the box for safekeeping. And then we didn't have a ton of earth cards because, again, not a ton in the set. But I really like the ones we did get. The Chio card was cute. And Ranger Rabbit was very cute. And we got a Mimic. So Mimics are never going to be a bad thing. Let's go into the big deck now. Which is all of our Monarch cards, which is very cool. So we have some of these might be repeats, like Rice Master, because there's the lore version and there's the Monarch version. I think we got both of pretty much all of these. I did not get the Monarch version of my card, which is a little disheartening, but that's okay. I still got myself in general. I just didn't get the Monarch version of myself, which is okay. The big dick. No, I don't want to be TOS friendly. But we did get Lobby a few times and Yoro a few times in here, which was awesome. All right, going on to our counter cards. Let's see. This one, cute as fuck. I like this one a lot. The Outbreak Zero card, the art is really well done. Like, it's just kind of freaky looking, you know? Prison of Hatred, otherwise known as Twitter.com. Questionable Math was really funny. TOS friendly. Snore. Honestly, based. A lot of these we got quite a few repeats, but a lot of these were really cool. Like, I like the Sleight of Serpents one a lot as well. Yeah, a lot of these were really cool. Acolyte's Determination was very cute. Touch of Frostbite was cool. But yeah, I did like the smoldering determination quite a bit. That's a good one. That's a good one. So those are our counters. And then our next biggest pile is definitely the ice cards. And this is where I'm at for everyone that was asking earlier. We got Lavi, the homie. Mrs. Tubbs and Mr. Tubbs were absolutely a highlight. All of Yuzu's cards were also very, I know she's rebranded, but they were all very cute. Frosty was cute. The Pixie was cute. There's Lavi again. Let's see. This one was really cute. The Idol Queen Yuzu one was very cute. And then Ice Goddess Wineria was very cute as well. We got Yoro. Let's see. We did get the Foot Soldier. And then there's me! So there's my foil. I got myself. I now have 2 of these, which is really awesome because I pulled one at Offkai. But yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff. And then last but not least, our item cards. We'll go over those and then we'll see what the heck is up. Alright, let's see. Scythe of Repose, Quantum Hammer, Tiara of Winter. Yeah, I like the Quantum Hammer a lot. I like this one a lot. This looks like something straight up from fucking Dark Souls. I love that one. The Saber was cool. I like this one a lot too. The Fiend Saber was really cool. Baneful Cutlass, Solar Whip. Yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff. So I didn't get everything I wanted, but we got pretty much mostly everything we wanted. So I did want to see, because I did promise a surprise. So we're gonna see if I can get the surprise loaded, but we'll see what happens. So keep in mind, this is a work in progress. It's not entirely done, but let me take a look. We're gonna try to do something. I'm gonna have to close and reopen VTube Studio, I think. I may not have to, but we're gonna see. Okay, hold on. Where's Steam? Give me 1 second. Browse local files. And where are my downloads? File Explorer. Downloads. Just be patient with me. I promise there will be sauce. Okay, I promise there will be sauce. Was that just the holy hand grenade from Bud? I don't think it was exactly, but it definitely looked inspired by it, and I fuck with it. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Oh, I have to extract it. It's 7-zip. Hold up. I forgot how 7-zipped worked. So let's put that here. Here. Is this gonna work? Okay. And then let's see. See if it did it instantly or if I have to restart VTube Studio. I think I have to restart VTube Studio, which is fine. That's okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna disappear for a second. Trust the process. Trust the process, okay? Alright, let's see if this works. This is gonna be my first time. What I'm about to show you is going to be my first time looking at it as well. So just keep that in mind. Actually, we're gonna go back over here for a second. Okay, so like I said, keep in mind, this is my first time looking at it as well. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, so I don't have my, okay, hold on. Let me make sure my camera is on, because I did have to restart the fucking software. Okay, where is it? Connect USB. Hold on, I have to, oh boy. Okay, if this works, let me see. I don't think she has mouth yet. I'm not, or unless it's like not doing something it's supposed to. I have to double check, because I know my model dad told me that not everything was ready yet, so that could be why. But yeah, okay, so I think there's still some stuff that's missing unless I didn't import something correctly, but she's breathing, so that's, she has thighs, so that's cool. We don't have feet yet. We didn't have feet in the budget quite yet. But it's coming. It's coming. All right, this has been cooking for a while. Yes, I've been wanting to debut this model for literally I think it's been literally almost 2 years at this point. Let me try reloading it and see. I have to see back what my dad said to me. So we got files on all the physical demo. We got a good chunk. Let me see. I made her remove all expressions. Yeah, let me try loading her in again, because I'm wondering if I messed something up. Let me try loading just like a random model. Or wait, no, I can load her in again. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll do auto setup. Oh, she's moving. Look at all my eyeballs! Okay, so my mouth isn't opening yet, but... I'm so happy. Oh my god. So the mouth isn't moving yet, but... she's coming, okay? She's coming. All right, I also cropped myself off, but... I'm so fucking excited. Okay, I know this is like... I don't know, man. I've been wanting to debut this model for literal years at this point. I started work on this model in 2 years ago, in 2022, I believe. Actually, yeah, I think it was January 2022. And I kept pushing it off because I was working on other projects. And don't get me wrong, I love working on projects for other people, you know? But I don't know, like I don't know if this sounds like selfish, you know, but I wanted to do something for myself, and I don't do stuff for myself a whole lot, you know? So I was really excited to kind of finally get this going, because I've wanted a new model for a really long time, and she's just so fucking pretty, dude. And I know it's not all done yet, but we'll be done soon. But she's just so pretty. I'm so obsessed with her. All right, but that was a surprise. So I think she's gonna be, once she's like fully done, we're gonna be cooking so hard. And I have like a whole fucking, the lore video is gonna be like 10 minutes long. But I have voice actors that have been willing to help me out. I'm writing all the music myself. I literally was just like, oh, I don't have money for a BGM. Writes 9 pages in finale. It started as like a simple piano piece, and now it's a full orchestra piece, but that's okay. I did post pictures of that later on, but I am really excited to debut this. So I'm gonna be making the announcement really soon. Now that I have the actual model, I'm gonna make a trailer for it, debut trailer. Our debut is gonna be June 30th, which is my birthday, and it's gonna be during our donathon. This is the first donathon I've done also in 2 years. Go ahead and get dinner. Congrats on the new model. Thank you. So the official debut of Miss Ma'am will be June 30th. I think we're actually gonna end the stream here as well, because I'm gonna be real with you, my tummy hurts. My tummy fucking hurts. So let's see who we can go raid. And we will call it a night. Let's go raid. We'll go raid Puds. We haven't raid Puds in a while. Puds is super, super sweet. So we will raid. Let me make sure I spell her name correctly. Puds is awesome. I love Puds. Let's see. All those extra eyes are making me squirm in the best way. Isn't it cool? It's so fucking cool. I also have the Sans Undertale eye, which is awesome. And our raid message is gonna be, what should our raid message be? I don't know. Do we want to just keep it generic tonight, or do we want to be goblins? What do we want to do? I think the gun emote should be there. We could just, like, not say anything and just gun. Like, that's an option, you know? Yeah, let's just do that. We'll say, and if you're not sub, just type, are you allowed to do that on Twitch? EB gun raid. Hello, my dear friend. I'm going to shoot you in the face. I'm sure she'll love that. All right, let's do something like that. All right, gamers, I will see you on Friday. Friday, we're going to be working on my Hentai Matsuri panel. And then Sunday, we'll be playing some more Skyrim. I hope you guys have fun today. And I will catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye!